You ever turned your air conditioner system on and notice that after some time you're still sweating?
On today's episode, we're going to go over the 3 reasons why you could have a refrigerant leak.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Mike Solomon.
And I'm Tori Tyler with Anthem Heating and Air Conditioning Tips,
servicing the Coachella Valley
and the Riverside area.
Today on Anthem Heating and Air Conditioning Tips, we want to talk about if there's something wrong with your system or are you just low on Freon. I leave my house at 80 degrees when I'm away, but when I get home, I turn my air conditioner down to 76 degrees. If it doesn't get down to temperature within about an hour, I know I have a problem.
Hey Mike, what do you mean by holding temperature?
Well, when I turn my air conditioner down to a certain degree, I expect it to stay relatively close to that degree, within 1 to 2%.
Okay.
So if it's not at that temperature, I know I have a problem.
Oftentimes, your AC might be low on refrigerant. Here are 3 ways you can check to see if it's low on Freon.
First would be make sure that it's getting to temperature of whatever you set it to and staying at that temperature. If it's not getting there, could be a problem.
The second thing that you can look for is your outside condenser could show signs of a leak. If you do a visual examination of inside and out, you can see there could be a leak and there'll be oil stains all over the condenser.
The third sign could be freezing up. So if you look at your condenser or coil lines and see ice or frost on these lines, that's a sign that it could be low on refrigerant.
And you would want to turn that off right away because you don't want to damage your system.
If you notice one of these signs, it could be an indication that you're low on Freon. Can I add Freon myself?
Well, actually, in the state, you cannot add Freon yourself. You need to be licensed and you need to have the proper equipment in order to just add the Freon.
What type of refrigerant are they?
Well, depending on the age of your system, there's 2 different types. You have R22 and then you have 410A. If your system's older than 10 years, you most likely have R22.
Newer systems have 410A. An older system, you may want to look at replacing sooner rather than later.
Is there a cost difference between the 2?
Significantly. The R22, there's not much left here in the state of California, and when it's gone, it's gone. So right now, our price is about $110, which is around the market in this area. Our 410A is running around $75 per pound. Hey Tori, if I'm a homeowner and I'm not prepared to spend a lot of money on my system, but I'm low on refrigerant, is there something I can do?
Yes, there is an option. If you wanted to save some money and do a temporary Band-Aid, you can put some leak seal in the system. It's not a guarantee to work, but it does work on about 50% of the situations that we come across.
How long will it help us?
It's probably prolong you a couple years, but that's not a guarantee. If my system keeps losing Freon and I don't see where it's leaking the Freon, is there a way for me to identify where the Freon's leaking out of?
We can do what's called an isolation test. That's where you isolate the coil, the condenser, and the line set. By cutting each area, pressurizing each area independently, letting it sit for a couple of days, and coming back to see what the pressures read, we'll be able to determine which part of your system is leaking. And at that time, we'll make a determination on which part to replace or repair if possible. Unfortunately, on today's episode about refrigeration leaks, it's often hard to diagnose or repair. We talked about doing an isolation test to locate exactly where the leak is, visually seeing if you can tell where the leak is, and symptoms of that leak.
If you do have to replace though, it's not the end of the world. Oftentimes, if you do upgrade your AC from the old refrigerant to the new refrigerant, they're roughly 30 to 40% more efficient. So you will save money on your power bill, even though you do have the expense of having to replace the unit. If you find yourself at those crossroads where you do have to upgrade your system, our information's here to help on the board.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Tori
with Anthem Air Conditioning and Heating Tips, servicing the Coachella Valley
and the Riverside area.